Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Little Steakhouse for today's lunch with Coach Coleman with a live remote broadcasted live on 89.7 KUAP. And for you listeners out there, you can call in if you have any questions for Coach Coleman or the players that are here. There's Mr. Ben Anderson and Mr. Kyle Walker. The number is 575 UAPB. All right. At this time, we ask that the players introduce themselves to the audience. Mr. Anderson.
Ben Anderson, Little Rock, Arkansas, quarterback.
Mr. Walker.
Kyle Walker, Bluff, Arkansas, linebacker.
All right. At this time, we ask that the players give opening comments about the off week and talk about playing Alabama State this week. Mr. Anderson.
Well, we had a good off week. Got our bumps and bruises fixed and treatment. Stayed in the weight room. I was proud to see a lot of teammates went to the weight room, watched some film. We expected them to blitz a lot. No fear. That just means they leave boys in the defense. So we expect them to blitz. Hope to get them out of the blitz, and then just keep running the ball.
All right, Mr. Walker.
Bye week gave us a little time to check them on film. Got to see what type of skill players they had, what type of scheme they like to run. So we got a good game plan going in. A lot of guys back that caught a couple bumps and bruises in the last game. So we're looking at a really good week.
All right. At this time, we have opening comments from head coach Monty Coleman.
Thank you. I want to welcome everybody here to the Little Steakhouse once again to the press conference as we lead this week into Alabama State. Last week during our bye week was a very productive bye week for us. We got a lot of needed self-treatment for some of the guys with some of the bumps and bruises, little boo-boos that wasn't real serious. They got a time to rest themselves up, ready to play. We did work pretty much every day. I did give them a couple of days off late in last week. We just kind of analyze ourselves. A great time for us to self-evaluate ourselves to see where we are as we lead into our first conference game. Everybody know that we are leaving tomorrow for Montgomery, Alabama to host or to play against Alabama State. They've played one conference game thus far against Mississippi Valley. They were able to win that game. They're coming into our game with a 2-1 record. We are 1-1 record, and it's our first conference game. So we're excited. We're ready. From here on out, it's all conference. So we're excited about this game against Alabama State. It's a Thursday night game. 2 years ago, in 2012, we were able to go down and beat them on Thursday night, ESPNU. And we're hoping that we can have that same magic this Thursday as we go down to Montgomery to play against Alabama State.
All right, at this time, we open the floor up for questions. We ask that you raise your hand and be recognized. Mr. Morrell.
Ben, tell me, what do you remember most about that game 2 years ago? And that was their last season at the Crampton Bowl. Now they're playing at the new ASU Stadium. That seemed like to be a game right there that just propelled you guys to the SWAC championship.
It was a great atmosphere. Stands were packed out. But we just went out and we just wanted to have fun. I just remember one play happened, then next another big play, so they just started happening back to back to back. Before you knew it, we was in the rhythm. And, had people making plays. Tyler kicked a 50-yard field goal. Eckwood took a 20-yard screen. JB broke for 40 like twice. So, everybody was just playing their role, making plays, doing their job. So we had good practices, so I think it can happen again this week. We just got to stay focused and be determined.
Texas State's blitz, and you guys have played one more game since that. Has that prepared you well for Alabama State's blitz? And then talk about what do you see out of Courtney Berry, their linebacker? He's already got 30-something tackles through 3 games. You talk about how the blitz leaves the voids in the defense, but he's always there ready to meet those plays.
He plays good. He plays pretty well. But I noticed a lot of teams just run into the strengths. A lot of times the boys are on the opposite sides. Or just to check away. So as in film, I was thinking of other plays to run. Just had a a little list of plays to check to or to look at, just in case I see something in defense. But nothing to take away from him. He is a good player. He has good speed. Could you repeat the first question?
Okay, so you were talking about the linebacker. I think I forgot what the first question was. I can't remember for myself what the first question was, but I guess from a player standpoint, and Coach Coleman said he never talked much about the victory 2 years ago on national television. Of course, you guys played on television again in the SWAC championship. But from a player standpoint, because you guys have won 3 straight national TV games, from a player standpoint, does being on TV stick in you guys' mind? Does it give you an extra boost to play well?
I mean, yeah, you can tell your homeboys, that's going to school somewhere else or in another state or just back at home, you can say, watch me on TV Thursday, I mean, that's always exciting, it's an extra boost. Not saying it's any different from a game on Saturday, it's just, it's a different experience. This may be a once in a lifetime experience for a lot of us, this only be my third time, so it may be last time, you never know. So I mean, of course it's more fun, so yeah, it's a great experience.
Oh, I know what the first question was. Did the Texas State Blitz and whatever that Concordia show, did that prepare you guys well for the Alabama?
I mean, it was early in season and it's a new offense. So, we were in it, but we hadn't got relaxed in it, so we see blitz and we knew the answer, but, we were still a little jittery. It's like when you study for a test, you just get the notes. The test Friday, you just took notes Monday. So Tuesday and Wednesday, you a little slow on it, but by Thursday you got it. Friday morning you ready. So we had we had our 2 games a week off, so we should be well in it now.
Right, Kyle. One interesting aspect about Alabama State, their running game. They got 370 yards this last week. I know that caught you guys' attention right there. How much have you focused on the running game?
You always focus on the run game as a defense. If you can stop a team from running the ball, you can make them one-dimensional and you can anticipate plays, put them in bad situations. So we're coming into the game wanting to stop them from running the ball completely, make them a passing team, get the ball back in our offensive hands.
What have you seen out of their passing game?
They like to spread it around. They go 5 wide a lot. They like to get receivers in space. They got a couple good skilled players, and he's got a decent arm.
Right. This is just the first of 9 conference games, Coach, but what will this say about UAPB if you can pull out this win?
Well, it's an important win, being our first conference game, a game that we desperately need to win. I told the team yesterday that it's the most important game of the season, which it is because it's our game this week. Of course, next week will be the most important game of the season also. But it's a game that we want to win, a game that we need to win. We don't want to go down 0-1 in the SWAC. We want to start off with that 1-0 in the SWAC because those are the games that really count. So it's a very, very important football game for us.
All right, Mr. Tim Stubbs.
Tim Stubbs, KUAP 89.7 Sports, UAPB Television. Coach, with the bye week, did you see the progression that you were looking for as far as getting ready and maybe healing up some guys that were nicked up a little bit? Can you just talk about that going into this game? How you feel about getting ready for this game with the bye week?
You know what, Tim? Normally on a bye week, you're not hoping, but if you got guys that has some serious injuries that can come back, but they need that week of rest, we didn't have that. We've got some guys with some, now knock on wood, this bye week was more all about us. All of the guys was able to practice. We didn't have anyone that was injured and needed this week of rest. So by it being this early in the season, it's a good time to have it. It's a good time for us to self-evaluate ourselves. We played 2 football games, one on the road, one at home, and just go back to the basics. And that's what we did last week. We scrimmaged the ones against the one, not scrimmaged, but practiced the ones against the one some last week. We also got a jump start on Alabama State, and that was the biggest asset with the bye week. We were able to get some extra days of practice on Alabama State. So with this short week now, we didn't miss any days of practice as far as preparation. So a good time for a bye week because it's leading us right into our first conference game.
As far as your rotation defensively, do you feel like at this point, I know it's too early in the season, your rotation, is it pretty much set, or you still got some guys that you're looking to maybe prove themselves a little bit and they could jump up the depth chart?
No, it's pretty much set. We knew that, in our opening game against Texas State. It's pretty much set. We've got some guys that are still playing. They will get some playing time. The good thing about our defense, we have multiple formations or sets, and we'll rotate. Mr. Walker, he'll play sometime at the middle backer, he'll play sometime at the Sam backer, and he might even play sometime at the will backer. He's very versatile. We have defensive linemen that'll be more of a pass specialist that we'll bring in on passing down. So, depending on what the offense gives us, it's going to dictate who's going to be playing that day. So, with the number of guys that we've got, you may see any of them in at any time.
Did you get some game film on Alabama State?
Yes, we did. Yeah, we did. We've actually got 3 games. We've broken down the Mississippi Valley, their most recent game, and they're a very good football team. They run the ball well. Mr. Morel asked Kyle about the running attack, and he answered it very gracefully. We want to stop the run. That's our number one objective on the defense, is to make sure that we can stop the run to make a team pretty much one-dimensional. And they've got a very good running attack. Put up over 300 yards rushing last week against Valley. And the thing that we can't do, we can't allow them to run the football.
And Ben, talk about your third offensive coordinator here in the last 3 years and some of the challenges that's been. Talk about that a little bit, and are you getting more comfortable with the new offensive game plan and kind of where you are with that?
Well, the first 2 offensive coordinators, they were pretty much a spread offense. So, that was what I was used to, had it in high school. So, it was just learning a few, checks and winks here and there. It wasn't too much, but, it's more of a pro style now. So, your whole mindset has to almost change. You have to be a little more patient, but, he's a good teacher. Coach Jones is a great teacher, so he explains everything. He answers all your questions, and then he shows you out on the field how it goes and specific reads and what to look for and, when to check and when to just keep the play on. So, it's a learning experience, but we're coming along good, and I think we'll be good this Thursday.
I know there's a great history there with Coach Jones, personally with you. Monty, can you talk about that a little bit? And then, of course, he was at Alabama A&M, used to be a big rival, go head-to-head. But for those who may not know about the offensive coordinator, just kind of fill them in on that a little bit.
I'm very fortunate, or we are as a football team and as a university, to have a person of his caliber as an offensive coordinator. He's been a head coach for several years, not just in the SWAC, around other conferences also, has a ton of experience. As far as coaching experience. We go back a long ways. When I was with the Redskins doing my tenure there, Coach Jones was my teammate, and he was a tight end, so we got a chance to go against each other, built a great friendship. We did off-the-field activities together, and just became, real good friends. Of course, when I started coaching here in the SWAC here at UAPB, it was always a pleasure to go and play against Alabama A&M because I got a chance to rekindle a friendship or see a person that I hadn't seen in a lot of years. And unfortunately for him, last year after the 13th season, they didn't retain him at Alabama A&M. There was other schools that was interested. He and I started a conversation, and one thing led to another. They said that if he didn't get a head coaching job at a school that he wanted to be at, that he would be interested in coming on as an offensive coordinator. Coach Dooley had left us as a coordinator and gone to Grambling. So, and that was a no-brainer. To get a guy with his experience, I think he's been to the SWAC championship 5 times with A&M, won it 1 time. to bring his experience over to us as a head coach and as an offensive coordinator. Like I said, it was a no-brainer. So we are very fortunate and very blessed to have our Coach Anthony Jones as our offensive coordinator right now.
Are there any more questions for Coach or the players at this time? All right, we thank you for coming out. Let's give Mr. Tony Dow a round of applause for letting us come to the Little Steakhouse. Once again, we thank you. Coach and the players are available for one-on-ones.